deep the Father's love for us, how vast beyond all measure.
And so we come to Maundy Thursday. The word Maundy comes from a French word meaning commandment. It's the day when Jesus gave a new commandment, that we love one another. Now each day I've been trying to give a word that encapsulates what happened on that day. This time I need to give two words because two great events took place on that day. One took place in the upper room and one took place in the Garden of Gethsemane. Now the Last Supper, that alone has so many words one could use for it that it's really hard to choose one. The Last Supper had some of the warmth of the Saturday night. John leaned on Jesus' bosom, not much social distancing there. It had some of the joy of the Sunday. That was the night that Jesus said, I tell you these things, that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be full. It had some of the anger of the Monday. As he handed the bread to Judas, he looked at him and said, Woe to him by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It would be better for him if he'd never been born. It had some of the faith of the Tuesday. Jesus said that night, Let not your hearts be troubled. Believe in God. Believe also in me. And it had some of the darkness of the Wednesday. We read that Judas, after he'd received the bread, went out, and it was night. I'm also tempted to use the word servanthood. That was the night that Jesus washed his disciples' feet. But the word that I think stands out above all of these, when Jesus took the cup, he said, This cup is the new covenant in my blood. That word covenant. That night, Jesus declared that the old covenant was finished and the new was beginning. We're no longer under law. We're under grace. That word covenant is actually the central word of the whole Bible. We call our Bible New Testament and Old Testament. Covenant, it's the central theme of the Bible. And it's a very rich word. In Greek there are two words for covenant. The one is the word syntheke. That's a covenant made between two equals. We could represent it by the old grip we used to use as children. It only works if both parties hold on. A marriage covenant is a syntheke covenant. But there's another word. It's the word diatheke, and that's the one that Jesus uses here. That's the covenant between a greater and a lesser. We could represent it by the old sailor's grip. And here, as long as the stronger holds on, the covenant will continue. And that's the covenant that Jesus has brought us into in his blood. Even when I'm weak, even when I fall and fail, he still holds on. If we are faithless, he keeps faith, for he cannot deny himself. It's a covenant of tremendous security and safety. And so covenant. And then they leave the upper room and they go down to Gethsemane, a walk of about 800 meters. And there, with the full moon directly overhead, Jesus falls down among the ancient olive trees. And the word it would be easy to choose for Gethsemane is the word agony. He felt a tremendous agony as he faced what was ahead for him. His whole being cried out not to have to do it. He wouldn't have been human if he hadn't felt that. Everything in him recoiled from what he was asked to do. But he made a commitment and submitted to his Father's will. And so this Maundy Thursday we have two words, covenant and commitment. Two gifts from Jesus. And because of those gifts, my forgiveness, my salvation, my adoption as a son of God are secured for all eternity. And even when I'm weak, I'm held secure in the unfailing grip of a nail-pierced hand.